Chapter 18. Sri Sadguru said, Sri Narayana alone is the supreme being. He himself is Brahma. He himself is Shiva. He is Indira. He himself is the Virat Purusha, the all-pervading soul. He is the formless Brahman, the eternal and primeval person. For the sake of their worship and prayer, the Brahmanas meditate upon this indivisible God who is the very embodiment of wisdom and who is Vasudeva himself. They attribute various forms to him. Sri Bhagavan blesses the Brahmanas, assuming all those forms that are meditated upon by them. Sri Vasudeva only is worshipped in various forms by the bhaktas, having various mental states and levels of maturity. According to their desires and tastes, Sri Vasudeva is propitiated by their devotion. The riots among people worshipping different deities are meaningless. All Shastras are incorporated in the Gita, which is quite comprehensive. All gods are but different aspects of Sri Hari and hence are enveloped by him alone alone and spring forth from him alone. There was a great devotee of Sri Shiva who belonged to the community of the goldsmiths. He was engaged in the traditional profession of making ornaments. Though he lived in Pandaripuram, he had never had the darshan of Sri Panduranga. Like Ghantakarna, he was also engaged in belittling the glory of Sri Vishnu always. Once a rich man came to this devotee of Sri Shiva in order to get some ornaments made. The rich man said, I want to make a very expensive girdle of gold studded with precious stones and gems for Sri Panduranga. I came here learning that you are an expert in this job. Please start making a girdle now itself. Certainly I shall reward you adequately befitting your skill and craftsmanship. Sri Narahari said, I am a devotee of Sri Shiva, having Shiva Dhyana as the only object of my life. I shall never make an ornament for the sake of Sri Vishnu. The rich man said, Are you not making jewels for girls getting married in return? There's nothing wrong in doing the same way now. Sri Narahari said, In that case, you get me the exact waist measurements of the Lord who is residing in the holy Pandaripuram. Sri Sadguru said, Having been instructed thus, the rich man went to the temple and got the measurement of the waist of Lord of Devi Rukmini. Narahari, the goldsmith, made a golden girdle exactly according to the measurement. Filled with joy, the rich man offered it to Sri Vittala, but as the gem-studded girdle was bigger in size, it slipped out of the waist of Sri Panduranga. The rich man became very sad and took back the girdle. He came again to Narahari, who was immersed in Shiva Dhyana, and reported to him what had happened. At that time, Narahari became a bit angry. He cut the extra length and made it exactly coincide with the new measurement. Now, when it was offered to Vittala again, it was found that the girdle had become very tight and that the measurement was yet not correct. The adjustment was done many times, but in vain. Narahari got angry. At last, ironically enough, he had to come to the temple of Sri Panduranga in order to take the correct measurement. He covered his eyes with a piece of cloth as he did not want to see Sri Panduranga. With an indifferent attitude, he touched the murti of Sri Panduranga. Is not Sri Panduranga an exponent of magical arts, very naughty and rasika by nature? So he appeared before Narahari as Sri Shiva suited to his temperament. Narahari touched and felt the matted hair and the moon crescent on the Lord's head, the third eye of his forehead, the snake on his neck, and the trishul on his hand. Narahari was startled. Oh, this is my Lord only. The treacherous people worship my Shiva as Vishnu, wearing the garland of sylvan flowers. I am quite sure. Thinking so, that devotee of Shiva opened his eyes, but he saw in front of him only Sri Panduranga, the lotus-eyed lord of Devi Rukmini, with the insignia of Shri on his chest. The devotee was bewitched by this Leela of Sri Bhagavan. With great wonder, he touched him and gazed at him again and again. When Narahari touched him, he was in the form of Sri Shiva, and when he looked at him, Sri Vittala was in the form of Sri Vishnu. Realizing the truth ultimately, Narahari attained unsurpassed strength of devotion. Shiva is Vishnu himself, and Vishnu himself is Shiva. Realizing this truth, Narahari abandoned his idea of duality and distinction. Let this deity be Shiva, let him be Vishnu. Only Sri Vittala, who showers mercy unsought, is my sole refuge. Thinking so, he developed unaltered devotion to Sri Panduranga and submitted the girdle to him. Sri Madhava also accepted it. Be one a Shaiva or a Vaishnava, one should have unflinching faith in the deity of his choice and worship him, not developing any hatred towards other deities. Thus ends chapter 18, entitled Narahari Charitam of Book 8 of Sri Vaishnava Samhita, composed by Shri Krishna Premi Swamigal.